Welcome to today's daily Smartsheet micro learning lesson. And I wanted to start with a concept just to sort of put it in framework as to what this micro series is all about. So, over the next couple weeks, I'm going to give you two options in terms of how you can learn Smartsheet. The first one is you have a pre recorded course that takes you from zero to hero in Smartsheet, and I am offering that one for free. You will have a link to this course. The course goes entirely and covers all of the nuances of Smartsheet. Starts from sheets, reports, it goes the whole A to Z. And there is a coupon code that I'm going to give you that removes the cost and makes this course 100% free. But in parallel with that, because that's like 15-20 minute long videos and they go from A to Z. And if you're serious about learning Smartsheet in a short time, that's the best way to do it. If you are already a user and you have gaps, because a lot of us, we teach ourselves Smartsheet and we learn through YouTube, we learn through the community, wherever we are learning from. Smartsheet itself has a Smartsheet University with very well structured lessons. But in learning it on the job and in using it, I have found that I've seen people who are using it and there are gaps, specific gaps. They're trying to do something that they know it can be done and they just don't know how. So these videos are going to be relatively short and relatively pointed. It's going to be looking at one specific tool, one specific component of said tool, or one specific application of mixing the tools together. Because one of the powers of Smartsheet, and I mentioned that in the full length course, is that it comes as a blank slate unless you're using a template. And if you're using a template, you have to understand how the template works. But if you're building your own solutions, which you can build to match any situation you have, and if it evolves tomorrow, you can adjust. So your solution can be exactly what you want. Unlike other platforms where you have to sort of live with the imperfections because it's not a perfect match. With Smartsheet, you can get it to match your needs perfectly because you are dictating what components come together. So the ingredients you have to build a Smartsheet solution, it starts with a sheet, a basic Lego piece. It's called a sheet. Sheets are connected. You can use forms. You can put them together to display things and call it a dashboard. You can create extracts from sheets and call them a report. Inside the sheet, you can have formulas and automation, making things happen in automatic ways. Once this happens, then that happens. And the beauty about Smartsheet is that you can use it to create a solution for a real world issue by combining all of these Legos to create a different solution that's specifically targeting your needs, right? So that's the beauty about it. If you learn these components, then you will go into any situation, any project, any process with a confidence that you have a very deep and flexible toolkit. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It essentially is going to be able to meet any challenges that you have. I have approached massive projects with this, and I have not yet found a data management solution that I needed that I couldn't create in Smartsheet, because the fundamental building blocks are so versatile and they're all so compatible. And I'm talking about just the core products in Smartsheet. There's a whole layer of Smartsheet that goes beyond that, which I'm not going to be covering in this course. I'm just covering the core products. So one of the things that I want to start with, and I'm going to start with that today, is the basis of a sheet. A sheet is no different than a spreadsheet, no different than an Excel sheet, a Google sheet, a number sheet. There's one fundamental thing that is slightly different. The other platforms are finding ways to do this, where if you look, you see I have 4 groups and there's a plus sign here, which means that if I hit on this, it expands and I have more rows of data. So all of these are children of this row, which is primary security, which means that their department is security. And the same thing with front of house and AV and TD. Now, if I wanted to create a grouping for these PMs, I would first of all need a row that's going to be the parent. So I would click on this, right click, and do create, insert a row above, and I'm going to give it the name. I want to call it primary-PM for consistency. And now when it's first created, it's in the primary column, but it's just another one of the entries. I can make it a parent by selecting all the children below it and using this indent function, right, which is command and square bracket, or I can just click on this icon here. And when I do that, you see it inserts a minus sign, and then all of these have been indented once. So if I click on this, I can collapse it, and they all just collapse and become represented by the parent, or I can expand it and you see all the children. And I can do the same for the admin. I need a row, and I name the row. Once I have the row named, I select all of what I want and I indent, and now it's there. So I can have this, and then it allows you to group the data, and it's not just the aesthetics of the look of being able to hide and compress and show. There's a lot of benefits in this process. When you have a sheet and you have it stored like that, when you go to formulas, you can tell the sheet that, hey, if this thing is a parent, do this, and if it's a child, do a different calculation in the same formula. So you're not writing a formula for if it's here and then you're pasting it only in the headers. And I've seen people struggle with doing that type of thing in other platforms, in Excel, in Google Sheets, and so on. With this one, because you can have that relationship that you can define using variables, and we're going to get into that. It is extremely useful. It has the aesthetic value of being able to collapse. And if I were to finish this sheet, I would just have primary, and these are design. And I am selecting these and indenting it. And then I'm going to just group all the others that have yet to be put in a department. I'm just going to call them others. And I do the typical Control Shift and down arrow. It works in all these platforms. And then I will do the indenting. And once I indent those, they all collapse on the others. So now my sheet can be sort of clean, where I have just my departments. I can get into the TD department, expand it to see the data, AV department, expand it to see the data. But it doesn't take away the fact that this is still a raw database that you can process. It actually adds to that value. All right, so that's what I wanted to look at today, the structure of the primary column and the ability to create indents inside the primary column. Well, there you go. Thank you for joining me on the very first microlearning series for Smartsheet. More of this to come. Again, as I said, if you want to learn Smartsheet in a holistic way, I have the full course available. There's a link in the comments section below with a coupon code that removes all the costs. So the course is entirely free, and you can just sit there and go through, binge watch, and consume all of those lessons. Or if you are already a user and you have gaps, stick around, and I'm going to do these micro series. If you have anything that is a specific bother to you and you want me to start with that or do a lesson on that, feel free to add that in the comments. Outside of that, I'm just going to be doing what I do, which is in the field. If something comes up, I make that the video of the day and sort of be inspired by my use of, or my experience with this being used. So until next time, this is Rohan saying thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.